Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud Course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together.
Now for the track guide. Before starting, if you enjoyed this content, if you think you're learning something, drop it a like and a subscribe. It will help me so much with the YouTube algorithm so that we can get this video to a lot of other drivers. Now getting into the track guide itself, for turn 1 what I'm using as a reference for braking is the 200 meter board. Very close to the 200, like right now I'm applying the brakes, and what's important for you to do in this corner is to take a late apex and to generate a lot of the rotation on entry with the brake release and with the steering angle. So what I'm doing right now is first of all using all the track. As you can notice here, you see this grass line, the left side of the white line. You can even put your left tires on the grass just a bit, just barely touching it, and it will open up the corner a bit better. You will have a slightly better trajectory towards the corner if you hyper focus on using all the track. And it's super easy to do it because it's a long straight up until turn 1, so you have all the time in the world to properly prepare this corner. Now in terms of turning point, you have to delay your turning point a lot into this corner. So what you're gonna do is you will try to take your normal apex and see if you get wide on the exit. And if you get the off track on the exit, or you're not properly using all the track, then you will try to brake in a straight line first. Notice that at this point, when I'm picking my highest pressure under braking, 79, I'm braking in a straight line. I'm not turning, so don't turn and brake. Brake in a straight line, then slowly turn into the corner, and whenever the speed is lower, then you will crank the steering wheel more and more. It's important here to have the car oversteer a bit, so it's important to generate some rotation with the brake release. As you notice here, if you look on my steering wheel input, I'm turning left and right when going into the corner. The car is loose. That's important here because otherwise you can't go on throttle very aggressively. In terms of curb, you can use half of the curb like this. Like you can use this line around here, and you can put your right tire slightly past the line on the right side. Super important, the moment that you touch the curb, then immediately go back on throttle, 0-100 very quickly, because this is a compression zone, there's a lot of available grip, and also because there's a huge straight ahead. If you're not maximizing your exit out of this corner, you will lose big time. Now in terms of track limits right here, it's a bit tougher to say, but what I noticed, if you have this curb in the middle of the car, so you can put your left tires to the end part of the curb on the grayish tarmac, it still won't be an off track, so this is legal, but immediately bring the car to the right side. And for this straight, you just have to use the least amount of steering angle to scrub less and less speed, so barely using your steering wheel to point the car for the next corner. Now the next chicane can be tricky, so first of all, braking point 300 meter board, or you can use this orange part around here near the wall. Past it, you're gonna apply the brakes, but you won't brake in a straight line into the corner, so you won't brake parallel to the white line. You will point the car diagonally towards this wall right here, or this curb. So my vision is at this point, and I'm trying to put my car as close as I can to the wall without touching it. But if you're gonna brake a bit parallel with the white line and then turn, you won't have enough grip. So you will go past the grip limit if you're gonna do that. Instead, you want to brake diagonally towards this corner like this. Don't pick very high with the brakes because you can spin the car under braking, but downshift as quickly as you can to fourth gear. That's super important. And in terms of track usage, look how close I am to the wall. You have to go like this. You basically have to imagine that you will draw a straight line in between those two curves, because I'm going almost straight here. You see, if you will go like a snake, you have to brake a lot more, and very much possible that you will go past the grip limit because this car will understeer a lot if you turn and brake at the same time. So the secret with this car is to do most of the braking on a straight line. Now I'm still trail braking at this point, and because the fronts are starting to slide, to get a bit of grip on them, I'm pressing the throttle here very aggressively, and then I get the car back under control. Using this curb and this one on the exit, you can go very close to the grass, even cut it a bit and still won't be an off track, so there's a plenty of space that you can play with. Now in terms of the line for this long corner, this can be a bit tricky. What I'm doing here, I'm just staying one more second on throttle after I go past the curb, and then I'm applying a small trail brake, like 10% trail brake, so I will be very close to this curb right here. So my goal at this point is to stay almost glued to this curb on the right side. Now after a while, whenever I hit this orange part on the blue wall, I'm gonna apply the throttle, and I'm just gonna play with the throttle in such a way that, just one second, let me turn on my phone. I'm just gonna play with my throttle in such a way that I'm always gonna use this part here. So it's critical that you arrive at this point. So your throttle application might not look perfect, but if you manage your speed in such a way that you will arrive at this point, it's probably gonna be a lot better than missing it out. For the next corner, braking reference is this tarmac on the right side, this patch here. I'm braking at it, and for this corner, you have to apex late. Super important to not hit this curb, the red and orange. Don't hit it, just go around it, a lot of trail braking. And now when you go on power, you can barely kiss it like this, and this is gonna give you that good exit in which you're using all the track. So the common mistake in the previous corner is touching that curb on the left side. Avoid it altogether and just apex very late. Same here, you have to brake almost in a straight line, then turn. The car is gonna be twitchy, but it's the faster way around it because you don't want to hit this curb early. I'm hitting it very late, like around here I'm hitting it, and this gives me the result in which I'm not modulating the throttle inputs and I'm using all the track. If you're gonna hit that curb earlier, then you will have to modulate on your way up, and because you're going uphill, you will lose some engine RPMs and torque. Next corner, braking point 100. Brake slightly before it, brake hard, and for this corner, again, apex very late. If you can avoid touching this curb, it's just gonna push the car wider, but it's okay if you arrive here, it's perfectly fine. Next corner, uphill braking. I'm braking at the top of the crest, almost slightly before the very high position, and downshifting to second, and at this point, I just want to stay very close to this curb and touch it on the end. So you see there's a theme on this track in which you want to apex late. You want to apex late so you won't run out of track on the exit. So this is exactly what happens. Ideally you won't do this lift around here with throttle, but still super important to apex late. Same thing here. First of all, using all the track, notice that the right side of the white line there's a bit of tarmac that you can use. After the 100, turning with 100% throttle and then lift. So don't brake for this corner, just go 100% in and just do a lift. I'm not even lifting to zero, I'm still maintaining some throttle applied, but I don't want to go past this curb right here to arrive more on the right side. Even though it's not an off track, it's gonna make the next corner super uncomfortable. So it's better to leave 003, 004 of lap time here and sacrifice it, so that next corner will be quicker, rather to push here and miss in the next one. Obviously it's gonna be the best if you push here and you still don't miss the next corner, but in my driving I found that it's not really worth it in terms of consistency, in terms of mental gymnastics that you have to do to get it right. So it's a lot more comfortable to just use this part right here and then quickly reposition, because right now you have time to think. And what I'm thinking right now is to apex late. So to delay the point in which I'm gonna hit the curb on the inside. And what I'm doing, I'm braking, I'm not using like a reference for braking here, I'm just looking at the corner. But if you want a visual representation, this yellow line with the pit entry, you can use it. So you can brake before it, brake quite hard, harder than you think, so 60% initially. And right now, I'm not trying to hit the curve right here where I see it. I try to hit it where I don't see it yet. So I'm going around, and right now I'm hitting it. This is gonna be important. And whenever you're hitting it, 0-100% throttle, so that you will gain on this big straight. Super important to not do a lot of corrections under in a corner in which there's a long straight ahead. But in short, that's the track guide for this week with the TCR, with Honda Type R. If you enjoyed it, if you want to accelerate your learning, you can just check out my sim racing course in the video description. A lot of people that are enrolled found a lot of lap time, and you can check my Discord for feedback. So a lot of people improved a lot after the course. It uses some of the things that I've learned during the years in coaching sessions. So if you want, check it out, and I'll be seeing you in the next week for the next track guide. Bye bye.